In 2019, the internet watched a Guinean singer named Grand P go from viral curiosity to global celebrity, standing just over 3 feet tall and living with a rare genetic condition. He was suddenly everywhere online, flexing designer clothes, private jets, and stacks of cash. Then he did something no one saw coming. He publicly claimed a controversial Instagram model named Eudoxie Yao as his girlfriend. A lot of people assumed it was a joke, and that reaction says more about what people were thinking than what was actually happening. Eudoxie was already famous for her extreme curves, luxury lifestyle, and millions of followers, which meant she could realistically date almost anyone she wanted. So why did she choose Grand P? That's what we're here to understand. But first, you need to know who Grand P really is. Grand P, whose real name is Musa Sandiana Kaba, was born on October 11, 1990, in a tiny village called Sangiana in the Kankan region of Guinea, which is a country in West Africa. When he was born, his parents immediately knew something was different. He wasn't growing the way other babies were growing. His body aged faster than it should have. Doctors eventually figured out he had something called progeria, which is one of the rarest genetic conditions on the planet. Here's what progeria does. It makes your body age about 7 times faster than normal. Kids who have it start looking like elderly people by the time they're toddlers. Their hair falls out, their skin gets thin and wrinkled, their joints stiffen, their bones become fragile, and most tragically, their hearts give out before they even hit puberty. The average life expectancy for someone with progeria is about 13 years. Very few people with this condition make it to 20. Grand P is 35 years old right now, which makes him one of the oldest people with progeria still alive. Growing up in Guinea with this condition was brutal. People stared at him everywhere he went. Kids laughed at him. Adults whispered. Some people thought he was cursed. Others thought his family had done something to anger the spirits. In a place where most people had never heard of progeria, where there were no support groups or medical specialists who understood the condition, Grand P was completely alone. He never went to school, not because he wasn't smart, but because the schools wouldn't take him. Teachers didn't know how to deal with a kid who looked so different. Other students made his life miserable, so his parents kept him home and he grew up isolated, spending most of his time listening to music on an old radio his father brought home one day. That radio changed everything. He would sit for hours listening to Guinean musicians, mimicking their voices, learning their melodies, making up his own songs. Music became the one place where his condition didn't matter. When he sang, people didn't see his body, they heard his voice. And his voice was good. When he was in his early 20s, he decided he was done hiding. He started performing at local events, small gatherings, anywhere someone would give him a microphone. Most people came to stare at first, but then they stayed to listen. His big break came when Kafala Kant, one of Guinea's biggest musicians at the time, was doing a concert at the People's Palace in Conakry, the capital city. Grand P somehow convinced the organizers to let him perform before Kafala took the stage. He walked out in front of thousands of people, grabbed the mic and sang. The crowd went silent. Then they erupted. Not because he was small or because of how he looked, but because he was actually talented. People started recording him on their phones. The videos went viral across Guinea. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know who this guy was. He leaned into it. He started calling himself Grand P, which is short for Grand Prestige. He wore designer clothes, expensive sunglasses, flashy jewelry. He posted videos on social media showing off cars, making jokes, dancing, living his life unapologetically. His social media blew up. He went from a few thousand followers to millions in less than a year. He became the most followed musician in Guinea, with over 7 million followers across platforms. People loved him because he didn't act like a victim. He didn't beg for sympathy or ask people to feel sorry for him. He acted like a star, and people treated him like one. He started getting paid for performances. He released singles like Grand P Barana, Life, and Silly. He dropped an album. He collaborated with other big artists in Guinea. He was making real money, living in nice houses, driving nice cars, traveling across Africa for shows. But here's the thing. Despite all the success, despite the fame and the money, Grand P was still lonely. He talked about it in interviews. He said that women would take photos with him, would laugh at his jokes, would tell him they loved his music, but none of them saw him as someone they could actually be with. He wanted a relationship. He wanted love. And he wanted people to see that just because his body looked different didn't mean he didn't have the same desires and emotions as everyone else. Then in 2019, he met Eudoxie Yao, and everything changed. Eudoxie Yao was born on June 14, 1990, in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, which is right next to Guinea. She's a plus-size model, influencer, and businesswoman who became famous for her curves, her confidence, and her completely unapologetic approach to her body and her lifestyle. She's about 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighs over 200 pounds, and has measurements that made her one of the most recognizable figures in African social media. She didn't come from money. She grew up in a regular neighborhood in Abidjan, but she was obsessed with fashion, beauty, and entertainment from a young age. As she got older and her body developed, she realized she looked different from the skinny models that dominated magazines and music videos. But instead of trying to change herself, she decided to make her size her brand. She started posting photos on Instagram showing off her body in tight dresses, bikinis, designer outfits. She wasn't hiding anything, she was celebrating it, and people responded. Her follower count exploded. Brands started reaching out. She became the face of plus-size fashion in West Africa, doing photo shoots, appearing in music videos, getting flown to events across the continent. But Eudoxie didn't just rely on Instagram. She was smart about building her empire. She launched her own line of beauty products. She invested in real estate. She bought properties in Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Dubai. She started driving Bentleys, Lamborghinis, and Rolls-Royces, posting videos of herself stepping out of these cars in expensive outfits, living a life that most people could only dream about. People accused her of being a sugar baby, of getting her money from rich older men. She denied it every single time, saying she built her wealth through hard work, smart investments, and her brand. Whether people believed her or not didn't matter. She kept winning. So when Grand P and Eudoxie Yao met at an event in Ivory Coast in 2019, nobody expected what happened next. They started talking. He made her laugh. She made him feel seen. They exchanged numbers. They started texting. Then they started posting photos together. The internet lost its mind. The photos showed Grand P barely reaching Eudoxie's waist, standing next to her in matching outfits, holding her hand, posing like they were a couple. People couldn't believe it. The comments section exploded. Some people thought it was sweet. Others thought it was a publicity stunt. Most people thought there was no way this was real. But they kept posting. Videos of them having dinner together. Photos of them on vacation. Clips of them dancing. Grand P talking about how much he loved her. Eudoxie calling him her king. And then in December 2019, Grand P proposed. He got down on one knee, well, his version of getting down on one knee, and asked Eudoxie to marry him. She said yes. The engagement photos went viral across Africa and beyond. The reaction was split down the middle. Some people celebrated it as a beautiful love story that proved love has no limits. Others were convinced it was fake, that Eudoxie was doing it for attention and Grand P was doing it for publicity. Relationship experts weighed in. Bloggers wrote think pieces. Memes flooded social media. Through all of it, Grand P and Eudoxie kept insisting it was real. They did interviews together where they talked about their connection, how they made each other happy, how they didn't care what anyone else thought. Grand P said, Eudoxie was the first woman who treated him like a man, not like a novelty. Eudoxie said Grand P made her feel beautiful in a way that no other man had. For a while, it seemed like they were proving everyone wrong. They were together for months, posting constantly, appearing at events as a couple, talking about wedding plans. Then in 2020, cracks started showing. Rumors began spreading that they'd broken up. Then Eudoxie posted a cryptic message on Instagram saying she was single and focusing on herself. Then Grand P posted photos with another woman, a Guinean singer named Geniai Alpha. People were confused. Were they broken up? Was this a publicity stunt? Nobody knew for sure. Then things got messy. Eudoxie accused Grand P of cheating on her with multiple women. Grand P denied it and said Eudoxie was the one who had been unfaithful. They both started airing their grievances on social media, posting screenshots of text messages, making accusations, dragging each other publicly. The breakup became a huge story. Blogs covered every detail. Fans took sides. Some people blamed Eudoxie for supposedly using Grand P for fame. Others blamed Grand P for supposedly being controlling and jealous. The truth, as usual, was probably somewhere in the middle. For a few months, they were definitely done. Grand P moved on publicly with other women. Eudoxie focused on her business and posted photos showing she was living her best life without him. It seemed like the Grand P and Eudoxie era was over. But then in late 2020, they got back together. Photos started appearing again. Videos of them together. Statements saying they'd worked through their issues and were stronger than ever. People were skeptical, but Grand P and Eudoxie insisted they were serious this time. The reconciliation didn't last long. By mid-2021, they were broken up again. This time, the split seemed final. Eudoxie started dating other people publicly. Grand P did the same. They both unfollowed each other on social media, deleted most of their couple photos, and stopped mentioning each other in interviews. Grand P began a relationship with a Moroccan woman, sharing photos and videos with her, calling her the love of his life. Eudoxie continued building her brand, traveling the world, posting content that showed she was thriving without him. As of 2026, they are not together. They've both moved on with their lives. Grand P continues making music, performing across Africa, and maintaining his massive social media following. Eudoxie continues running her businesses, modeling, and living the luxury lifestyle she built for herself. So what's the real story here? Was it ever real love, or was it always about publicity? Here's the thing. It was probably both. Did they have genuine feelings for each other at some point? Probably. Did they also know that being together would generate massive attention and boost both of their brands? Absolutely. Does that make it fake? Not necessarily. Relationships are complicated, and when you add fame, social media, and millions of people watching your every move, things get even more complex. What's undeniable is the impact they had. Grand P and Eudoxie forced millions of people to confront their assumptions about what relationships should look like. They challenged beauty standards, size expectations, and the idea that people have to look a certain way to be desirable. Whether their relationship was perfect or messy, real or performative, it started conversations that needed to happen. Grand P proved that having a disability or looking different doesn't mean you can't be successful, confident, or loved. He built a career when everyone told him it was impossible. He demanded respect when society tried to treat him like a joke. He lived his life on his own terms. Eudoxie proved that plus-size women can be successful, desirable, and powerful. She built an empire when people said she should lose weight and conform. She celebrated her body when society told her to hide it. She refused to shrink herself to make other people comfortable. Together, even if just for a moment, they showed the world that love doesn't follow the rules we think it does. And even though they're not together anymore, that message still matters.